Did you know that Klarna has a massive, or at least scary, security breach in its core systems? I'm going to explain my situation and what happened to me, and since I am a Swedish man, my English will be accordingly. I also would recommend you to watch my 2 Swedish videos on this topic, since I might leave some things out making this video. I also doing this without a script, so the structure of this video might be a bit off sometimes. So, in December of 2024, I woke up with a couple of notifications on my Klarna app saying that I had made 4 purchases of one-time cards of a total value of just around $1,500 US. Of course, since I had not done any such thing, I immediately logged into Klarna and tried to stop this, and was unsuccessful, since there is no way to just stop these things from happening when they have been activated. So I was forced to go the very lengthy process of making a complaint about these 4 false invoices that had the Chinese web shop AliExpress as its they were set to AliExpress. I had no idea what this was. I would later on learn that one-time cards are something used in the Klarna app to buy things on web shops, and you can only use these and buy these cards within the Klarna app itself. So it's not a question about going to a web shop on your browser and making this order there. No, you have to use the Klarna app. I've been repeatedly told so over the course of this lengthy process. And finally, I managed to stop this process. It took me basically half a day. The support, they did what they could. It was a very complicated process. The app, you had to do it within the app. You couldn't just phone up Klarna and tell them, hey, help me, there's something going wrong here. No, you had to do it by the app, which in itself is incredibly annoying and leaves room for a lot of issues. And so happened in my case as well. I was told that I should file in the police report of this also. A police report I, of course, hadn't at this point in time yet filed, since, the first thing I did was contact Klarna. So I contacted the police, and they were very helpful, and a police report about this crime was filed. I got the data I needed to once again reach out to Klarna and add this, and yet another lengthy process started, because I wasn't allowed to do this by support. I had to go by their AI chat system, their bot, to do this. I was actually just, refused to do so on the phone when I phoned them. No, you have to use the AI chat. And lo and behold, that didn't work. The AI bot did not do this as instructed, and my report simply got lost. They also told me in this process that they will look very thoroughly to this, and it might take 2 to 3 weeks before they get back. No, that's not the case at all. In my case, they only had to look at my case for 2 days, and then they returned with, "We can't see any problem at all with this." I was shocked. 2 days. The support, I phoned them again, and the guy I talked to, he was very, very helpful and very, very concerned. The problem is he can't really help me because all these things are dealt in the background by their security team, meaning you can file a report and you can complain, but then that's it. You have no access to a person investigating this. You can't follow up with questions. You can't answer things. No, everything happens in the background. The problem is, this thing was very strange. And here's the point of this 6-minute long intro. To buy these one-time purchase cards from Klarna, you have to identify yourself within the app. The only way to identify yourself in the app, at least here in Sweden, is by using the official bank ID, which is an electronic identification system. It is very secure and very, very widely used by everyone. It is, according to Klarna, the only way to do a purchase within the app. And since I already knew that I was not responsible for this, I had not used my ID to verify anything, I also made sure to look up how all these things work, and I contacted my bank. They are the main source of how to use these things. They explained to me that the odds of someone copying or having a false version of a bank ID is basically none. And even if someone had a false bank ID, the use of it would be logged in the same log as your real one. So I could just look up things in my log, my bank ID log, which is a separate application, and see what occurred during these days. And lo and behold, nothing. There was nothing there because I never purchased any one-time purchase cards, as I already knew, and now I actually had the evidence. So I also made sure that Klarna had a copy of this log for them to see all this. Then nothing happened. I had filed yet another complaint, as I just said, and they reopened the case, this time promising to make sure that they wouldn't just, cancel it and react and then not, look at it properly. So I waited for 1.5 months. I also had this nagging worry in my back of my mind that, how did this happen? How could someone buy things in my name for 1,500 and in no way or turn use any identification for this? This was a stressful time, not only because Klarna held me accountable for all of this during this time. They were, quote unquote, investigating it, which is really, really horrible as a feeling, because when you log into the app, it said that the balance was me being $1,500 in debt to Klarna. That remained during all that time, and I could also not use the Klarna app during all of this. Everything was blocked. I could not even use their Klarna checkout system on other web pages, which is really annoying since it controls a lot of other payment systems. So I couldn't use my bank card even on some other pages because of this. So Klarna took the right to, rule over me and my economy, despite just being a private company, whilst not reaching out to me at all. So about 2 weeks ago, I recorded a video in Swedish, and lo and behold, not more than 12 hours later, Klarna contacted me. Oh yes, they had seen that video, as they will probably see this one. So reaching out, describing my situation to the public helped. But the really horrible thing is that despite them reaching out to me and canceling this debt, I can't really feel in any sort of way confident that anything is resolved. I mean, I have the proof that they are no longer holding me responsible. I have several proofs actually, but I still feel they wanted to put the blame on me, because I told them in this conversation we had, I actually got to speak to one of those investigators now. I told them that there were some more people that had contacted me during this process, because when I put up this video, this Swedish video, people reached out to me with everything from similar to basically exactly the same experience. There were other people that had gotten false one-time purchase card claims in their app, and it was also made by AliExpress. So the common theme here is AliExpress is obviously a favorite use for whoever it is that uses these things. Now I get it, Klarna can't tell me how things really became this way. I get it, it's a security issue. They can't really expose any problems they have, technical ones. But their responsibility to themselves is not mine. My responsibility is to my own conscience and to other people. Other people who use Klarna daily, being unaware that Klarna has this very strange and scary security problem where people can use other people's account to buy things. And as far as I know, the reason and how they use it is still unknown to Klarna. They might find some answer to it, which we will never know about. It might be that there is an issue with bank ID, perhaps. Could be. Maybe my bank ID was copied by some high-end hacker somewhere in the world. And maybe this led to everything of this became reality. I don't know. But what I do know is that you don't get a sense of security, a sense of everything being under control when the company that has this much power over transactions and invoices, as Klarna does in Sweden especially, but I believe in many countries today, Klarna is a huge company. It leaves me quite worried. Could this happen again? Well, since I don't know how it happened in the first place, I don't know. They have on multiple occasions asked me to log out from my Klarna account, which I have on multiple occasions. I've done it about, 30 times right now, I think, over the course of all of this. I did it the very second I was hit by this thing in the first place. Of course I went in and logged everything out. I also changed my bank ID the very second it happened. I also made sure that my bank card was, placed on hold, so that if this was just a general ID theft from me, that things were, handled as good as I can. But I still don't know what happened. So I had the feeling that I swapped a small fly with a big ass sledgehammer, basically. That felt like the responsible thing to do. So here we are. It's been a week since they lifted my debt, and I am still very much annoyed. I'm annoyed that I don't know how it happened. I'm annoyed that I will never know how it happened. I'm annoyed that they took a very long time to do something about it, and I had to reach out. I'm thinking about all people out there that is not, like myself, an angry man with the capability of contacting and reaching out to social media. All of the people out there that have no clue that things are happening in the background. There are probably so much going on all the time that you have absolutely no idea about regarding these things. And that's horrible. I could just imagine if this would happen to someone like my old parents. They are 80 years old. They would have been just freaked out and paid it. They would have felt like, okay, let's just pay this and get it over with, so we can avoid getting hit by, the law and so on for not paying the bills. That is the way that many old people respond to things like this. So, I think that regardless of any policies and common practices when it comes to security issues, Klarna should go public with this and talk about it and make sure that everyone is aware of this, and not try to blame it on me, not try to just dismiss things from being a very small and isolated event. Because let's be honest, if something as secure as bank ID and Klarna was breached, it wasn't done by some hacker in a basement somewhere. It is done by someone with a lot of resources, and it can happen again. This is organized crime, of course. It is quite obviously so. Organized crime with a lot of resources, and judging from where the purchase was made, China, I would argue that it's quite possibly the origin country as well for the crime, and that hackers have found a way to exploit something, either Klarna or bank ID. I don't know. I'm leaning towards Klarna. That's one answer. Another answer is, of course, the fact that Klarna is a big company, and there's no way they can guarantee that they don't have employees that are criminals. There's no way they can reassure anyone of that point. So within their own ranks could be people, and the reason I'm saying this is not just ranting. It is a simple fact that my case was firstly dismissed within 2 days. That is not something a serious company does. That is something someone up to something fishy is doing. So, with these things, there's a lot of possibilities of what could have gone wrong. All of them quite nasty. Even the scenario where I'm the one to blame is still very much horrific for everybody else. Because if someone working with IT can be hacked, can be copied and so on, and has done a lot more research on this topic than the average person, if that can happen to me, it sure as hell can happen to anybody else. And I'm left with this bitter taste in my mouth that it could happen again. I have no idea what happened in the first place, and when you are left with no answer, well, then how could you ever feel secure that these things could happen again? Now, I want to stress this very clearly. Klarna did reach out to me. They settled my debt like it was my debt in the first case. It was a fraud against me, which is the most annoying part of it all, that I almost felt inclined to say thank you when we talked, which is ridiculous. Why should I thank someone for lifting a claimed debt that wasn't mine in the first place? That's like saying, oh, thank you, Mr. Criminal, for not robbing me. Yeah. I hope that this video, even if it is a bit or unorganized and perhaps lacking some vital information, as I said in the beginning, you should watch my 2 Swedish videos as well. I hope that this reaches a wider audience and that someone picks up on this, because we are living in a very digital world where banks and all actors on the market wants us to be digital, but yeah, look what that leads to when it comes to new possible frauds and crimes. So I am going to leave a video in the future where I give you tips and a guided step by step on how to act when these things happen. So stay tuned for a future video on this topic on this channel. But until then, you are welcome to leave your comment on this video. You're welcome to spread this video. You are welcome to ask me questions or just let me know if you experienced a similar thing in your country. I would very much be interested in hearing if this is something that has happened in other places than Sweden, because the people I spoke with were of course all Swedish. That could give us a clue if these things happen in other places of the world. So that, yeah, I'm pretty sure Klarna would like to know these things as well. So please leave comments on this video to just acknowledge that there's a problem here and that people are not going to accept this to be hushed up and silenced without any real assurance that it cannot by any means happen again. So, my name is Daniel and thanks for listening.